Welcome back. I'm Daniel Brewer.
And I'm Adam Burns.
And this is Mix Minus Talks About Star Trek, Lower Decks. Tonight we're going to talk about Episode 2, titled Envoys. Just a note for you guys out there who may not have CBS All Access. If you'd like to watch the premiere episode of Star Trek Lower Deck, it is available on YouTube for free for a limited time. CBS has put it up on their YouTube channel. If you just search for Star Trek Lower Decks full episode, you'll find it. It's on the CBS YouTube one. Don't go to some sketchy YouTube place. Just go to the CBS. Anyway, you can watch it absolutely, for free and see if you like it or not before you decide whether you want to shell out the money for CBS All Access. But let's talk about Episode 2 tonight.
Before we do that, I have a complaint.
Sure.
This is not on the script, but
yes.
CBS All Access, the app on my TV,
yes,
sucks because the little thing comes up and it says, watch now. And I'm like, great, I'm going to click watch now and it's going to take me to the episode
yes,
that I wanted to watch.
You want to watch, yes.
No, it took me to episode 1. I was like, what the hell, CBS All Access?
So are you, which app are you using? Are you using your TV app or a Roku app or Fire TV app?
We have a Vizio TV and it has
that would be the TV app. That's what I asked. So
yes.
You're using your smart TV app. Yeah, I can't speak to that. I have a Vizio TV, but I'm not using that app. I'm using the Roku one. I think what a lot of times though, I see this on all of these over the top platforms is that they have kind of one of the banners is actually a banner for an episode, which is why it takes you to that episode instead of you going to the series page, right? Because once you get to the series page, you can pick what episode you want to watch. And yeah, it's like fighting on Disney Plus. Sometimes it's like really, I have to fight to get back to the series page on Disney Plus because it wants to show me an episode of DuckTales. It's like, no, I want to skip ahead. Like, take me to the series page so I can get ahead. Anyway, none of this matters because we're talking about
Let's be honest,
Star
you've
Trek.
seen all the episodes of DuckTales already, so you're rewatching anyway, so.
But as I get older and forget things, it's like watching them for the first time. This week on Star Trek Lower Decks Episode 2, there were actually 2 distinct storylines that happened throughout this episode. So in order to kind of make this a little bit easier on our part, we're going to break them down into 2 parts. There was we're going to talk about them separately, I guess. They were intertwined in the show. We're going to break them apart. Does that make sense? Sure it does.
Yes.
The 2 storylines out there were one between Ensigns Boimler and Mariner. They were on an away mission, so that is one storyline that was happening. And the other one was between Ensigns Rutherford and Tendi as they prepared to go on a date, and Rutherford made some changes to his job. So we're going to talk about Boimler and Mariner first. After a brief encounter with a transdimensional energy creature, Mariner and Tendi are greeted by Ensign Boimler, who brags that he has been assigned to a sweet, sweet mission to shuttle the Klingon envoy General Corinne to a peace talk on Tolgana 4. Moments after Boimler boards the shuttle for his mission, he learns that Mariner is the mission commander and, in fact, old friends with the general. As they approach Tolgana 4, Corinne demands that they land in the Klingon sector so that he can get some Ga and more blood wine. Boimler reluctantly lands the shuttle to accommodate the general, only to watch in horror as Corinne steals the shuttle and flies away. Adam, what did you think about the beginning parts of Season 1, Episode 2?
I think it went downhill a little bit from episode 1, but a couple of thoughts that I had other than that. So one of the thoughts was, first of all, Mariner seemed so excited about getting a tricorder where she doesn't seem excited about anything else Starfleet related or anything. She's always like, whatever.
No, I disagree with that. She gets excited about Star Trek technology. She was very excited about the holodeck last episode. I mean, I think she likes the tech. I think she likes, the stuff. Who does?
Okay, I can see that. But that is a thought that crossed my mind. I was like, oh yeah, sure. You're all about the, and I did think it was funny that the energy beam or the little ball got smaller as he granted the wishes. It's like, and then he goes into the captain and I was thinking, okay, this is going to be the episode. Like the captain's going to be, possessed by this. And we don't hear anything else about it the entire episode. So that was a little interesting, like throwaway thing. Or maybe episode 3, who knows? I mean, maybe, the captain will be possessed with some energy beam, but
could be.
So there's that. And then I liked the fact that they made, and I don't remember if they made fun of this in the episode 1, but I liked the joke about how the Klingon's name. And what was his name? Well, they all have an apostrophe something in them.
They do, saying. As do Vulcans, yeah.
So, yeah, and then it was kind of, typical Klingon where he wanted to eat some wriggling worms and get drunk and
that's Ga.
All that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it was, again, a lot of inside baseball jokes, which I really enjoyed.
It is, and I think it sets up nicely. It continues on that whole kind of adversarial relationship that Boimler and Mariner have, kind of like friend. They like to fight. They enjoy fighting each other, I think. Boimler and Mariner make their way on foot to try and locate General Corinne and the missing shuttle. A brief encounter with a taxor goes badly when Boimler utters the phrase, female feces outside inside feces, in an attempt to apologize in the taxor's native tongue. Mariner quickly distracts the taxor and engineers their escape while at the same time stealing the creature's wallet. As Boimler waits for Mariner to blood pea some blood wine, he is approached by an attractive female who promises him Jamaharon. We find out that she's an Anabaj who wants to lay eggs in his throat. Later, Boimler accidentally starts a bar fight in the Andorian bar, causing Mariner to crash into the room shouting Kirkans as she punches an Andorian and then offers to buy the entire bar the next 5 rounds if they stop fighting. All right, Adam. So what did you think of this whole Mariner and Boimler wander away from the shuttle onto this alien planet?
I mean, I've had a couple of people want to lay eggs in my throat, but,
Oh.
But that was, does that race really exist, first of all? Is that a race that we've seen?
All right, Adam, I hate to tell you this.
No,
Andorians are not real. They're made up in Star Trek. You're asking, are they an actual race that has happened before in Star Trek? I don't know. I actually don't know. I mean, I would assume out of all the books in the movies or something, they really do drop a lot of Easter eggs all along this into, Jamaharon, which comes from Ryza. Like something else that there's later in the episode, they'll name drop Captain Janeway. Is like there really are, dropping things from, hints of things inside the Star Trek lore there. I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, I think that we just go around and and Andorans we know exist because they were in the first series. They were the blue creatures, but
correct.
with the antennae or whatever you call them.
One of the founding members of the Federation of Planets, yes.
But I was talking about the woman who her face split open.
No, I don't know. Anabaj. Yeah, I don't know if that's a real creature. I don't know. I got no idea.
But basically, this boils down to they're walking around and they're trying to find the Klingon and corral him because they need to get back to the ship. And again, Mariner's just showing that she's way more experienced than Boimler is. Even though they appear, and I know these are cartoons, so, I mean, you can't really tell, but they appear to be roughly the same age. So I'm like, man, how much more experience does she have? Or is it just because she's the daughter of the captain and, even when she was young and not in Starfleet yet, she's had experiences as she was just kind of tagging along? Because again, she seems to be...
Yeah, I think we'll find that out as we go along, just each episode and... get a little bit more of her backstory, a little bit more of that. So at the moment, we don't know. But yeah, they appear to be all roughly around the same age. So is that it? No response. I mean, I died laughing. That was my laugh out loud moment this episode when she literally punches the guy in the neck and goes, Kirkans.
I didn't catch that until you just said, I did not catch Kirkans at all. I mean, yeah, that's really funny, but I didn't catch it when I was watching it.
It just makes me want to shout that every time that anytime I ever jump out in front of anyone, I can't talk. Anytime I ever jump out in front of someone in the future, I'm going to shout that. That's going to be my battle cry now. So Boimler has reached rock bottom as he tells Mariner that he isn't cut out to be in Starfleet. He removes his con badge and tosses it into the puddle as he wallows in his self-pity. Mariner convinces him to continue to look for the shuttle when they happen across a Ferengi who offers to help them. In a moment of assertiveness, Boimler confronts the Ferengi, who attempts to attack them, but runs away as his knife is knocked out of his hand by Boimler's phaser beam. Boimler then notices that the missing shuttle is just ahead of them. The duo enter the missing shuttle, remove the unconscious Klingon, and deposit him on the doorstep for his peace conference, and then quickly chart a course back to the Cerritos. While his victory in the Ferengi encounter restores Boimler's faith in himself, our final scene with Mariner is her talking to her good friend Quimp, thanking him for pretending to be the menacing Ferengi on the planet. Adam, what did you think of the resolution of the Mariner and Boimler storyline?
Well, I always joke to Mark that, and that's my partner, boyfriend, whatever. I always joke to him that I should be a writer on television because I always guess what these, a surprise endings are going to be. So I turned to him while we were watching this and I'm like, yeah, she staged that. That is totally staged. And then we get to the end and sure, because I'm like, everybody knows what a Ferengi is. Like, she knows all this other crap and just magically she doesn't know.
What she thought it was a Bolian. Like. It's an innocent mistake. Yeah.
And so I kind of saw that one coming, but yeah, I thought it was nice of her. He had lost his confidence because she's so much better than him in every single way, it seems. And she wanted him to be happy. So it was nice. It was a really friendly thing and like for her to do. And she never broke character. Like even when he was making fun of her in the bar, 10 forward, whatever it's called.
I'm not sure if it's actually 10 forward on this ship. I mean, on the Enterprise, it was 10 forward because it was on deck 10 in the forward, fore section of the ship. I don't know what it's actually called on the Cerritos. I got to quit saying Cerritos. It's Cerritos. Anyway,
I didn't even think of that, but yeah, wherever they were, the mess hall.
Yeah.
So I thought that was sweet. I thought it was sweet.
Yeah. All in all, I mean, this was largely a place setting kind of episode where we're getting to know some of the backstories of our main four characters, and it wasn't as good as the first episode maybe overall, but at the same time, these are the steps you have to make, right? You have to get to know these characters in order to really kind of enjoy the stories. Do you have anything else on that? We're wrapping up on Boimler and Mariner here.
I had more of a comment that I think will go at the end, so I'm going to just save that.
Okay.
I'm going to save it.
Gotta save it. All right. On the second storyline, we deal with ensigns Tendi and Rutherford. So Tendi asks Rutherford if she's still planning on watching the nebula with her when the ship arrives in proximity of it in a few days. Rutherford realizes that he is scheduled to be working in the Jeffries tubes during that time and comes to the only conclusion that he can. He's going to quit his job so he isn't busy that night. He finds his boss and tells him that he wants to leave engineering. His boss wishes him luck, and the entire engineering department cheers for him for following his passions elsewhere. Adam, what did you think of the setup here of our romantic couple, ensigns Tendi and Rutherford?
Well, of course, if you have a conflict with something in work, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I'm going to quit my job.
Exactly.
I'm going to go find something else. Oh my God, I have something that came up on the same day I'm supposed to work. Like that was so stupid.
Well, it's very much an engineering mindset, right? It's just like, engineers like to solve problems. So, they don't necessarily want to listen to something. They want to offer, they want to solve the problem. This solves the problem in the most expedient way that they possibly can. I thought it was kind of funny that his boss, acted like he was going to get angry, but then, flipped the thing up. Well, of course you can. Good luck, and follow your dreams. And I'm like, yeah, this is Starfleet, right? I mean, what does it matter? Theoretically, they're not getting paid. So it's
right.
Like they haven't. So what does it matter whether they're engineering or, following their heart's desire to go, into security or medical or command, wherever they want to go.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. It's fine.
Whatever you want.
It's Star Trek. You can do whatever you want. Rutherford arrives with Commander Ransom on the holodeck. As a new recruit for command, he is going to be challenged with a simulated bridge scenario. After less than 30 seconds, the ship is destroyed, and Ransom suggests that perhaps he should have used the Janeway protocol. We next find Rutherford in sickbay as a new recruit for medical. Although he does extremely well at fixing broken bodies, he lacks any sort of bedside manner and is asked to leave after panicking a patient who has just gone through surgery. Finally, Rutherford enters the holodeck with the head of security, Lieutenant Shax, who orders up the most challenging board confrontation on file and marvels as Rutherford, with the aid of his Vulcan cranial implant, easily defeats the entire hive of drones. Shax congratulates him for being a natural and welcomes him to security. Rutherford realizes that he really wants to be in engineering, so he apologizes to Shax and heads back to reclaim his old job. The episode ends with them happily together in the Jeffries tube. Adam, what did you think of the wrap-up of the Tendi and Rutherford storyline? It was kind of weaved in between the Boimler and Mariner one, and it's a much shorter storyline, but what did you think of it?
Well, I thought I didn't. I know it was just for laughs, but so in the security situation where the security officer Lieutenant Shax?
Yes, Shax, the Bajoran. Yes.
Yeah, he sets up this really difficult, and I believe it was like they were Borg.
Yeah, it was like a
things,
whole
sentries.
I call it a hive. I didn't know what you call a group of Borg. But yeah, it was like 20 Borg. Yeah, like what happens when 20? It's a hive of Borg.
And so I thought again, just like in engineering. So when he says, "Hey, you know what? I really think I'm not cut out for this. I want to go back to engineering," and they do this kind of menacing, what kind of look on the lieutenant's face, and then he goes,
of course,
yeah. No, but you follow your dreams. I'm like, they have the same joke again.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. But it was interesting. Apparently, this implant that Rutherford has will just let him do anything, because he's like, I don't know how to fight. And then all of a sudden, you see this heads up display with like targets on all the hivelings. Mm-hmm. And then he's like clicking on them and setting up a targeting path and all this. And then all of a sudden, his thing just moves his implant. Evidently moves his body parts as well. I mean, I thought it was just like a LaForge sort of thing that helped him to see.
Adam, but, I want to stress, this is a cartoon.
It is, yeah.
We don't know. I mean, what your brain controls all your limbs anyway. So yeah,
True.
Half of his brain is this implant that he kind of do it. Yeah, I thought, it's apparent, right, that we have our two pairings. We have Ensign Boimler and Mariner with their kind of, adversarial type relationship, adversarial love relationship kind of a thing there. And then we have Tendi and Rutherford, who are just immediately settling into, let's go on a date. Let's hang out with each other. They seem to have moved that to the next step there, where I think I would qualify them as, they're very definitely dating.
Yeah. The thought that I was going to say earlier, that's more general, mm-hmm. is I saw a bunch of people. I don't know if it was on Twitter, because I don't remember where it was that I was looking, but I was just kind of poking around, and a lot of people have made comments that they don't really like Lower Decks and stuff like that, and I feel like it's probably a lot of like really hardcore Star Trek folks who want more of a, and I think you and I even talked about it like last week, where they want more of a Star Trek, and they probably didn't like Picard either, like the Picard show on CBS.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think I alluded to this last week. There is a certain part of the fan base that does not like anything other than the original series. Anything beyond that is, crap, and how dare you blaspheme, right? I would remind people, because I'm old enough to remember, that when Next Generation came out, those people made a whole bunch of stink about that too. It's like, It really just comes down to, Enterprise gets widely regarded as the worst of the Star Trek series just because not that many people liked it. I liked it. It's like, had Enterprise been popular, it wouldn't have been, it's a horrible prequel and it's, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm happy to have any kind of Star Trek in my life right now that's new, right? I've watched through Star Trek, several times from front to back, right? Every single episode of every single series. I've watched all of that at least 2 or 3 times completely. Some of them many, many more times. It's just things that are on in the background. So yeah, having new Star Trek in any form is great to have, to me. And like I said, I think this was really kind of a place-setting episode that, it's necessary to do.
Right. Yeah. And you need to, I think I'm beginning to feel about this whole series, and we'll see as we go, but it's a Rick and Morty type cartoon with Star Trek jokes kind of sprinkled in, that happens to take place on a starship.
Right.
And I think that if you're okay with the lightheartedness of it, and you've watched enough Star Trek that you really enjoy the jokes, mm-hmm. then I think it's very enjoyable, because there are so many little Easter eggs in there of things that if you hadn't watched Star Trek before, you wouldn't know what you wouldn't know what they were joking about.
Right. And here's, as to that point, the one thing that I had written down here, an open question for you, Adam, what exactly do you think the Janeway Protocol is?
I have no, it's probably like, you put on your cloaking thingy, mabob, and then you do a little warp, jump 3 feet over and maybe you mirror your ship or something. I don't know.
I feel like it has something to do with time travel just because Janeway is always involved in some kind of weird time travel, alternate Janeway from some other thing going somewhere. You have your Discord sound on, by the way, just so you know that. Anyway, it's not important, but thank you guys for sticking out on another episode as we talked about Star Trek Lower Decks, episode 2, Envoys. Adam, any closing thoughts on that?
Live long and prosper.
Excellent. Well, look at you. You're the Julie Chen of YouTube. If you'd like to catch us on our normal podcast, you can find it at mix-podcast.com, and we'll be back next week to talk about Star Trek Lower Decks episode 3. See you later.